Kia owners. The maintenance schedule that came in your glove box is written by lawyers and liability teams as much as it is written by engineers. It is designed to be the minimum defensible standard across every driving condition, every climate, every owner behavior pattern, and every possible use case that Kia's legal team could anticipate. It is not designed specifically for you. It is not designed for how you actually drive. And in several key areas, it is not aggressive enough to give your Kia the protection it needs to reach 200,000 miles in the strongest possible condition. Today we are building the maintenance schedule that the engineers who actually designed your Kia's components would use on their own vehicles. Not the minimum the warranty requires, but the complete picture of what your Kia needs and when it needs it to genuinely go the distance. This schedule applies across the Kia lineup: Sportage, Telluride, Sorento, Seltos, K5, Niro, Carnival, and EV6. Some intervals vary slightly by model and engine configuration, and we will call those out specifically. Everything else is universal. Print this out. Save this video. This is the only Kia maintenance schedule you will ever need. Let's get into it. Every month, the 5-minute check that prevents the $1,000 surprise. Before we get into the mileage-based intervals, there's a monthly routine that costs nothing and takes 5 minutes. And that catches the slow developing problems that every mileage-based schedule misses because they develop between service visits rather than at them. Check your engine oil level and condition. Pull the dipstick with the engine warm and the vehicle sitting on level ground for 5 minutes. Wipe it. Reinsert it. Pull it again. The level should be between the minimum and maximum marks. The oil on the rag should be amber to brown. Translucent means service life remaining. Opaque black means change it regardless of mileage. On Kia's turbocharged engines specifically, the 1.6-liter turbo in the Sportage and Sorento, oil consumption between changes is possible. Catching a low-level monthly protects the turbocharger bearing that receives oil last on cold starts and is most sensitive to any reduction in oil pressure. Check your coolant level in the overflow reservoir. It should be between the minimum and maximum marks when cold. A coolant level that is consistently dropping between services indicates a developing leak somewhere in the system. A leak that caught at the reservoir level costs almost nothing to address and left undiscovered costs significantly more. Check all 4 tire pressures against the door jamb specification with a quality digital gauge, not the TPMS, which only alerts when pressure is critically low. On Kia all-wheel drive models, keep all 4 tires within 1 to 2 psi of each other as well as at the correct specification. Underinflated tires cost fuel economy on every drive, and on all-wheel drive models create phantom slip signals that wear the coupling unnecessarily. Check your windshield washer fluid level. The washer pump is lubricated by the fluid it pumps. Running it dry repeatedly causes heat damage to the pump's internal components. An $80 to $150 repair that a $5 bottle of fluid prevents. 5 minutes, every month. This routine is the maintenance layer that catches everything the service intervals miss. Every 5,000 miles. The core engine protection service. Oil and filter, every 5,000 miles. Full synthetic in the correct viscosity for your specific Kia model and engine. Check your owner's manual for the exact specification. 5. W30 full synthetic on most current naturally aspirated Kia applications. 0 W20 on some configurations. The specification is not a suggestion. It is the viscosity the engine's internal clearances, oil pump design, and cold flow requirements were engineered around. The oil life monitor in your Kia is a sophisticated system that factors in engine load, temperature, cold start frequency, and driving patterns. It is more accurate than a fixed sticker on the windshield for average driving conditions. But it is not a direct chemical measurement of the oil's actual condition. And it is calibrated with a buffer that means by the time it reads 15%, the oil has been working hard for a significant period. Change at 20 to 30% remaining, not at 0. Use a quality oil filter at every change, Kaya Genuine, Wix, or Pure Later. The anti-drainback valve quality in the filter determines how quickly full oil pressure is established on every cold start. A quality valve holds oil in the filter through overnight cold soaks, so pressurized delivery to the upper engine surfaces begins immediately on startup. A cheap filter's inferior valve allows oil to drain back into the pan, creating a brief period of elevated wear that accumulates across thousands of starts over the engine's life. At every oil change, visually inspect the engine compartment. Look at every fluid reservoir. Check the serpentine belt for cracking or glazing. Look at the upper and lower radiator hoses. Squeeze each one firmly. A healthy hose is firm but pliable. A hose that is rock hard is near the end of its service life. A hose that is extremely soft has degraded internally and can collapse under pressure. Either condition means replacement before failure. Every 15,000 miles, filters and rotation. Cabin air filter replacement. Every 15,000 miles without exception. The cabin air filter on most Kia models is behind the glove box. No tools required, 5 minutes, $15 to $25 at any auto parts store. A clogged filter restricts the HVAC system's airflow, forces the blower motor to work harder on every drive, and reduces climate control effectiveness so gradually that most owners never notice the trend until they do a before and after comparison. Engine air filter inspection at 15,000 miles. Replacement when the filter is visibly dark and clogged rather than on a fixed interval, since the service life varies significantly based on driving environment. Dusty environments, gravel roads, and dry climates consume engine air filter life dramatically faster than clean highway driving in humid climates. Tire rotation at every 15,000 miles or every other oil change if you're on a 5,000 mile oil interval. The correct rotation pattern for your specific Kia depends on whether the tires are directional or non-directional, and whether the vehicle is front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Verify the correct pattern with your shop rather than assuming a front-to-rear straight swap. Incorrect rotation patterns on rear-wheel biased all-wheel drive systems fail to equalize wear the way the correct pattern would. Every 30,000 miles, the drivetrain fluids most owners skip. Brake fluid flush, every 30,000 miles or every 2 years, whichever comes first. Brake fluid is hygroscopic. It absorbs moisture from the surrounding air through hoses and seals over time. As moisture content rises, the fluid's boiling point drops from over 400 degrees Fahrenheit when fresh to well below 300 degrees at 3% moisture content. Use a $12 moisture tester. Dip it in the reservoir for 10 seconds. At or above 3% flush immediately. Below 3% flush at the 30,000 mile mark regardless. A complete flush costs about $15 in fluid. The vapor lock brake fade event that moisture-saturated fluid eventually produces is not a maintenance outcome you ever want to experience. Spark plug inspection on naturally aspirated Kia engines at 30,000 miles. Replacement typically at 60,000 miles with the correct heat range plugs. Iridium or platinum tipped plugs in the correct specification for your specific engine. Worn plugs reduce combustion efficiency across all cylinders simultaneously, producing fuel economy decline and throttle response degradation that develops so gradually most owners never notice the trend until fresh plugs reveal how much performance had been lost. On Kia models with all-wheel drive, differential fluid inspection at 30,000 miles. On vehicles driven gently in clean conditions, the fluid may not require service until 60,000 miles. On vehicles that have driven through water, mud, or significant temperature extremes, service at 30,000 miles regardless of appearance. Pull the fill plug and look at the fluid condition. Clear amber fluid is fine. Milky gray fluid indicates water contamination and requires immediate service regardless of mileage. Every 40 to 50,000 miles. The transmission service that changes everything. Transmission fluid service. Every 40 to 50,000 miles. 40,000 if you tow, drive in mountainous terrain, or operate in high ambient temperatures. 50,000 under normal mixed driving conditions. This is the maintenance item skipped most consistently across the entire Kia ownership community. and the repair bill it eventually produces is one of the most consistently unexpected outcomes for owners who believe their Kia would simply run forever without fluid attention. Kia's automatic transmissions require the manufacturer's specified fluid. Check your owner's manual for your specific model and transmission combination. Different Kia models use different transmission fluid specifications, and the correct specification is not interchangeable with a generic alternative. The friction modifier chemistry in the correct fluid is engineered specifically for your transmission's clutch pack design. A generic alternative with different friction modifier chemistry produces a different engagement characteristic that diverges from what the transmission was designed for over every shift event. A transmission service on a Kia, drain, fill with correct fluid, filter replacement where applicable, runs $60 to $120 at an independent shop. A transmission rebuild or replacement on any Kia model runs several $1,000s. That mathematics is why the 40 to 50,000 mile service interval is not optional on any Kia you intend to drive past 100,000 miles. Every 60,000 miles, the services that protect the long term. Spark plug replacement on most current Kia naturally aspirated 4-cylinder applications at 60,000 miles using the correct specification plugs. On turbocharged Kia applications, Sportage Turbo, Sorento Turbo. Check your owner's manual as some turbocharged applications specify shorter spark plug service intervals due to the higher combustion temperatures and pressures turbocharging produces. Serpentine belt inspection and replacement if any. Cracking, glazing, fraying, or tensioner wear is evident. A serpentine belt failure disables the alternator, the power steering pump, and in some configurations, the water pump simultaneously, leaving you stranded regardless of how well maintained everything else on the vehicle is. The belt itself costs $20 to $40. The tow, the emergency service call, and the peace of mind from a proactive replacement are worth significantly more. On Kia models with a timing belt rather than a timing chain, verify your specific model's configuration in the owner's manual. Timing belt-equipped Kia engines require belt replacement at the manufacturer's specified interval without exception. A timing belt failure at speed produces catastrophic internal engine damage on interference engines. Timing chain-equipped Kia engines, which include most current Kia models, do not require chain replacement service but do benefit from consistent oil changes that prevent the sludge accumulation that accelerates chain stretch. Full inspection of all suspension components, ball joints, tie rod ends, sway bar and links, control arm bushings, strut mounts. At 60,000 miles, these components are approaching the mileage where wear begins to show measurably on vehicles that have done mixed city and highway driving. Catching wear at the inspection stage when components are still functional is significantly less expensive than addressing the alignment damage and tire wear that loose suspension components produce over the following 10 to 20,000 miles. Every 3 years, the coolant service that most owners skip entirely. Coolant flush and replacement. Every 3 years regardless of mileage and regardless of what the coolant looks like in the reservoir. Kia vehicles require specific OAT or HOAT coolant chemistry, depending on the model and year, not generic green coolant. The corrosion inhibitor additives in Kia specified coolant deplete with every heat cycle. By the time the coolant looks brown and degraded in the reservoir, the internal corrosion of the aluminum components it was protecting has already been accumulating for a significant period before any visible indication appeared. The 3-year flush interval ensures the corrosion inhibitor chemistry never depletes to the level where internal corrosion begins. Use the correct chemistry for your specific Kia. Check the owner's manual. Replace the radiator cap at every coolant service. The cap maintains correct system pressure. A failed cap allows the coolant to reach its boiling point at a lower temperature than designed under demanding conditions. Annually, the battery check nobody does until they need a jump. Battery load test. Once a year, at any major auto parts store, free, 5 minutes. A voltage check is not sufficient. A load test evaluates the battery's ability to deliver current under actual electrical demand, not just whether it is holding a surface charge. Most batteries give 4 to 5 years of reliable service. In their final months, a failing battery creates voltage fluctuations that trigger random warning lights, infotainment glitches, and intermittent feature failures across the vehicle's control module network. Most owners pay diagnostic fees chasing these symptoms before anyone checks the battery. Test it annually. Replace it proactively when the load test shows degraded capacity. Before it fails completely, and before it generates the electrical gremlins that cost significantly more to diagnose than the battery itself costs to replace. At every service. The recall check that takes 30 seconds. Every time you bring your Kia in for any service, and at least once per year at home, check your VIN against the NHTSA recall database at safercar.gov. Outstanding recalls are addressed free of charge at any authorized Kia dealership. Driving a Kia with an unaddressed safety recall while maintaining everything else on this schedule is a contradiction that undermines the entire point of the maintenance investment. 30 seconds. Free. Do it every year. That is the complete Kia maintenance schedule. Every service, every interval, every item that the 300,000 mile Kia owners are doing consistently while the owners with premature repair bills are not. Monthly 5-minute check of oil, coolant, tires, and washer fluid. Oil and filter at 5,000 miles with the correct full synthetic. Cabin air filter and tire rotation at 15,000. Brake fluid and differential inspection at 30,000. Transmission fluid at 40 to 50,000. Spark plugs and suspension inspection at 60,000. Coolant flush every 3 years. Battery load test annually, and a recall check every time you open the safercar.gov database. Print this list. Put it in your glove box. Set reminders in your phone for every interval, and then drive your Kia knowing that everything you just heard is exactly what it was built to need. And that giving it that consistently is what the 300,000 mile story is actually made of. Save this video. Share it with every Kia owner you know. Drop a comment below telling us what year and model Kia you drive and how many miles you currently have on it. Subscribe for more Kia maintenance guides and everything you need to know to get the absolute most out of every mile your Kia was built to give you. New video every week. We will see you in the next one.